Hi, I'm Grant.
And I'm Kathy. Welcome back to our Change How You Think weekly video podcast.
If you'd like to hear from us every week, then subscribe to our video by clicking on the weekly video tab at the top of this page. Fill in the subscription form and you'll get our free ebook, Healthy Moods.
Last week, after we had finished taping a lot of videos,
5, half a day.
we discovered that one of our microphones wasn't working. And so we proceeded to do what the rest of the world is doing and order a new microphone online. And because the rest of the world is also ordering online, that microphone has still not come.
And we have no idea when.
And so we're sharing one little microphone between the two of us.
Now, do you know what the greatest stress of the pandemic is?
It's not having a microphone for myself.
And not knowing when it's coming. No, it's not all the hand washing, personal distancing, being stuck at home, losing your income and your savings, not being able to go to church, though you think that was bad enough.
The greatest stress of the pandemic is uncertainty. It's not knowing what's going to happen. It would be so much easier to cope with all of these inconveniences if we knew everything would be back to normal by a certain date. And then it would be just a matter of walking it out until we all graduated, just like we were at school taking a course.
This pandemic is so different. The world has never faced this much uncertainty in our lifetimes. We don't know when it will end, how many will get infected, when we can stop isolated, how we can get income, how low the stock market will drop, or when we'll be able to get back to our normal jobs.
We're in uncharted waters. The experts and leaders are making decisions based on very limited information, and that doesn't give us a lot of confidence.
When we don't know what's going to happen, we start to imagine possible outcomes. Well, this becomes Satan's playground. He feeds you frightening scenes of what could happen so your mind fills with fear and worry. It is his favorite way to torment you.
People hate uncertainty. We want knowledge and to be in control of what's going to happen. And this characteristic goes right back to Adam and Eve. Do you remember how Satan tempted them? He told Eve in Genesis 3:5 that if she ate from the tree, her eyes would be opened and she would be like God.
The temptation was to get more knowledge so they could take control of their lives and not be so dependent on God. They chose knowledge over trust, and we've all suffered from that decision ever since.
How do children handle uncertainty facing the family? Well, because they don't understand all the issues that their parents face, they don't really have to. As long as they trust their parents, they don't have to worry about anything.
God refers to us as his children. And as children, we aren't designed to understand the things that God knows about. Our role is to trust him. That's all we're to do. We don't have to figure it out because we can't.
He knows what's going on. And that's all we need to know. The pandemic was no surprise to him, and he has a plan. And he can even use the acts of the enemy to accomplish his long-term plans.
In Acts chapter 16, it has the story of Paul and Silas. They'd been severely beaten and put in jail. Many Christians were being executed at that time, so their lives were at stake and they were bleeding. This was a time of maximum uncertainty. They had no idea what could happen. Would they live or die? So how did they respond?
Well, at midnight, they were singing and praying so loud that everybody could hear them. They were acting like children who trusted their Heavenly Father in the face of life-threatening uncertainty. And what happened? There was an earthquake and God delivered them.
When your trust starts to waver in the face of mounting uncertainties, it's time to become like a child and worship like Paul and Silas did. Never forget that worship brings the presence of God into your situation and into your mind. It's demon repellent. They don't like to be around worshipers. It's the fastest and easiest way to clear your mind of tormenting thoughts.
Then remind yourself of all the ways God has helped you in the past. Think back over your history with God and his faithfulness to you. He was faithful to you then, and he never changes, so he's faithful to you now.
Whenever you get overwhelmed when watching the news and the mounting pandemic statistics, remind yourself of this verse, Psalm 112, verse 7. They will have no fear of bad news. Their hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord. Or Psalm 56 and 3. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you.
The solution to uncertainty is trust. Trust in your reliable and faithful God. He loves you more than any person ever could.
If you'd like to learn more ways to get through the pandemic victoriously, why don't you join us in the Free Your Mind program? It's our step-by-step online video guide to taking back control of your internal world. Just click on the link below this video to subscribe.
And we'll talk to you again next week, but this week, overcome uncertainty with trust and worship.